Another question we had remade this history, which was the about section, because I didn't like the way that it was doing it with the unordered list and list items. It's really hard to manage. So I remade it, but some people like the alternating thing, particularly when you get down to singles. It's kind of nice to. Well, actually, in the original one, it was stacked like this when it was singles. But let's suppose that you do like the alternating thing and you want to implement that kind of a style. So in the original one, they had a inverted class that they used, and I have to actually open up the original one so I can show that. So index is still the, is that still the original? No, I copied mine. What's it called? I think I have it as an unused. I cleaned up my folder when I was putting it online. So in the, did I put in the unused? Let's see. I may have just gotten rid of it. Oh, it's there on the desktop. Let me rename this. Index original. Okay. So in the original one, we have this. So let's see which one has inverted. That's the normal one. Here we go. So they use li timeline dash inverted, and that had its own special styles to make it do the opposite of their default one. Where is... I'm not seeing where it's actually triggering though. I would have thought that, I guess at this size it's not doing anything. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to use the same inverted class to do ours so we can try to alternate them. So that would be every other one would be inverted. Let's go to our page, and this is the history section. History. So each item is going to be like this. Okay, so I'm still using the timeline image. I'm just going to add it. Let's start with the second one. Inverted. And by putting it right on the top level thing, it makes it hopefully easier to work with. Okay, so just the second and third one will be inverted. Let me just change the text. Make it easier to identify. Okay. So here we have inverted on this one and inverted on... No, that doesn't make sense. Well, maybe it does in that layout. They just have all the images on the outside, and then when it gets smaller and they're stacked, it would still, yeah, that makes sense still. Okay, let's see what we need to do. So as these are here now, we have the image, and then we have the text with a large padding in it. So that 150 pixels, that last number, is the left padding. So this is the timeline panel. So we want the timeline panel on the inverted ones. And I think I'd have to copy this. Oh, it's no longer a LI. Oh, it's just the timeline panel class. Okay. So the timeline panel class, if it's a child of an inverted thing, so I can still use the inverted thing up there. So dot inverted space dot timeline dash panel would have a different padding and a different text alignment. So I'm going to copy, I'll copy the whole thing. And we're going to our styles. Let's find where the other timeline things are. So I see one here. Here we go. Here's the original one. So I'm going to paste this. And I'm not dealing with any of these. That's kind of weird. Oh yeah, that's why. Because this one was a child of an LI. So I do dot inverted. And we'll try just doing the opposite of all these things. So instead of float right, let's try float left. And top right, bottom left. So let's change these, the order. So this is 150 and this one is 20. And text align. So we're kind of doing the opposite on everything here. See if it works. Okay. So that part worked. The text is doing the right thing, but the images are not. So let's see how we get the images where they are. So the images are just like doing what they do. They're just there, right? I think we would have to do the same thing as the timeline image, position them absolutely. Here's position relative. Maybe we could do relative, and it's called what? These are called timeline image instead of timeline panel. Okay. So I'll copy this again. And instead of panel, we'll do image. Float left? No. Let's float right. And the width. It might be that we do a padding thing, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to put a comment around the padding so I can first see it without the padding, and then we'll see if we need it. Okay, so here it went to the right place, but it's making us wait for the thing here. If my content were inverted, where this would be first, that would work. So I haven't floated this. Did I not float it? What's it doing? It is floating. And let me check the HTML, because we need to know which one comes first. So the image comes first and then the panel. So these two divisions, one here and then one here. So the easy thing would be to reverse it so that we just change their order. But I think we could do it if they're both floated. Maybe if we make them absolute instead of relative, then it would pick them both up. Let's try that. No, that killed the width. If this were also floated left, no, it does need to be floated right. I just need this one to not wait. Floated left. Just one of them is absolute. It loses its size. Like I said, the easier thing is just to change the order. But if I don't want to change the order, then I've got to trick it into going up there. So when something is floated, it shouldn't wait for the thing before it. Why is it still waiting? Let's go with the easier way, like I said, before messing with this too much. So if you've made that choice that you want them inverted, so we're going to take this one and put it after this one. So you can see this is where it opens, this is where it closes. So if you can identify that safely, this will be easier to do. I believe just this will allow it to. Oh, same problem, but just opposite. The float is taking its time. Why is that not an issue with these ones? So with the normal ones, timeline image, image fluid. Timeline image, position absolute. So I need to make sure no, it should be doing it. Position absolute already. Oh, I told it to be position relative later. Okay, let's see. Timeline image is position absolute, and then I told it to be relative. Well, the panel is always relative. Maybe I just need to not float it. But then I still need it on the right. Oh, I guess that's where I have to use the padding. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Where'd it go? Top, right, left, or bottom, left. Top, is it? Okay, I'm gonna have to turn this off and on so I can see slowly what it's doing. Okay. Oh, weird. It's shrinking it. I guess it's all messed up because of what it did earlier with the margin left, all these things, height and width. So I'm kind of fighting myself on this. Okay, let's try copying the original things and seeing what needs to be changed. Position absolute. C index, no. Width, no. Text align center, no. Right? I know it's not going to be any of these. Margin left. That's what I think I need to mess with. Margin left 150. None of that makes sense though. So there would be right 0, but it's going out of the parent thing. What is the parent? The parent is timeline panel. No, it isn't. The parent is the column 6 inverted. If I do position relative on that, it should allow me to do an absolute. There we go. Okay, so that keeps it inside of its parent. But my sizing is a little bit off. So here it's in like, what, 10, 15 pixels. And here I'm right at the edge. You can see the images overlapping. So right 20 pixels. There go. Oh, that's like too close now, isn't it? Hard to tell. Ten. Okay. There we go. Yep, that worked fine. So it didn't care whether it was, see, I didn't change the order of this one. So it doesn't really care which thing comes first and which thing comes second. So don't worry about, and that was the ideal, is that it didn't matter. So here I had pulled it out of its normal place. So let me put it back in where it should be, so that you're not confused by that. So this one, same thing, the image is first and then the panel. So they should both work. And the only thing I ended up doing really, so I had to do it the inverted parent. Make sure that's relative so that it's children. This one in particular could be absolutely positioned but still fit within its parent. That's how that worked. Do I need all of this? The normal timeline panel, relative right. So I could actually get rid of this and this, and it would still work. Let's verify that. Yep. So this should be all that you need to do the inverted thing. It's these three rules here.